Hey there, kids. I haven't made a video in quite some time. Um, this is about being a cover guy in like a bar band or a dad band, if you will, because I'm a dad, and just how good of a little rig the HX Stomp alone into the front of house, or an amp. I sometimes bring an amp, but a lot of stages you don't have the room. Um, HX Stomp and a Line 6 shameless plug variax. So I had a full Helix for quite some time. I started with the Helix, and I loved it. It was ginormous, kind of heavy, did everything under the sun, you know, 10 amps at once, 50 delays at once. And then for a lot of the cover stuff we did, never really used it to its potential, and it was kind of big to lug around. And then Line 6 came out with this little bad boy, the HX Stomp, which I was trying for a while. I was using just the Stomp and this little Balaton expression pedal to as just like a fly rig to play small places. Everything fit my guitar bag, but it wasn't quite enough. So I bought, this is a neat little pedal to do multiple things with, a Boss SY1 synthesizer pedal, which is awesome, and a Freak Out, which I don't use a lot, but it's kind of neat to have since I do go front of house, to have a, for the feedback on certain songs and stuff. But so on this little totally homemade board, which is got off a bee's nest of wire ties and all stuff. Anyhow, that's not why I made the video. I got my Line 6 Mini XPS to power my variax, because unfortunately the one thing the Stomp did lack was either like the variax VDI cable or some way to power the variax. I do have batteries, but after a while they get old, they don't hold their charge. You don't want it to happen in the middle of a song if you're in a different tuning or something. Anyway, back to my story. So, I'm not a great player, I'll preface that. If you see the title of my page, it tells you I'm a guitar hack. But I do play covers in the local bar band, dad band, whatever you want to call it. And this little setup, let me just, I don't know if I'll be able to film and film accurately and play, but I'm going to put this down a minute and just some of the things you can do with different tunings on the variax and so you get some pretty realistic acoustic sounds if you want to do, because we do a couple of acoustic covers, obviously that one and some other, go a little more 90s. But so it got a pretty good acoustic sound, but like, okay, so you're going, those are two songs are in very different tunings, not your standard tunings, that you'll be able to do that other guitar players and other bands won't be able to do, because, I mean, they could, but, you're not going to retune an acoustic for, into open F or, open G or dadgad or in the middle of a thing. So, I mean, in the middle of a set, you want to go from one to the next, you want to go from acoustic to heavy. It's great. I mean, there's like, just, in your presets, I don't have them all dialed in at the moment, but, I'll get a little clean plexi. I mean, you could have just about anything you want ready at the, I mean, just like you can go from, I mean, that to your next song can be, I mean, possibilities are endless. I mean, a lot of you guys that are Line 6 users or variax users know how wickedly simple it is to just, turn one of the knobs on the variax and go into a different tuning. one thing I did miss about the Helix, not to get long-winded here, but Helix allowed you to switch tunings per preset, which was really kind of neat. One thing I do miss about the Helix. It's easy enough to work around with the Stomp, but it was nice to, you could go from, a Les Paul into a Marshall on your first snapshot, and then, if you got a bridge, you want a, 12-string acoustic with the bridge and back to heavy, button to button. So I do miss that a little bit about the Helix, but again, this is, I think, a third, well, maybe a little more than a third of the price of the Helix. But, so you got that, and then there's a couple of other, now, again, not a great player, so don't judge me, monkey. Let me see what we got. Something that's just I'll find one of these crazy little presets where I actually try and use both of the both things at once. Sorry about my bad filming here, but so this is with the Boss synth on the effects loop, and then just a regular whatever amp or setup you want to do, but anyway, you get the idea. It's kind of neat because, like I said, I got it set up through the effects loop. You could kind of go with, you can set up however you want. And this has a million different synth sounds in it, but like... Anyway, again, excuse the playing. The idea is just to get to show you, if you don't have a keyboard player, that is a neat little pedal worth every penny of the $200. I'm not going to tweak it now, but like you got organs, you got classic like 80s synths, because we do a couple of Cars covers with, at that 80s synth sound. And it just opens up a shit ton of possibilities for cover guys. And I mean, between the tunings, you go from an acoustic to, and then to have the ability to have like a, a keyboard built into I don't know what I did to that other preset here, but I mean, in the hands of somebody that actually knew what they were doing, I mean, so you get the idea, and that's just some, I mean, you can dial the keyboard to match the song a little better. And don't judge the sound, because I'm just playing through this crappy little custom 8-inch speaker monitor, just something to let you hear what's going on in the video. Anyhow, really long-winded, but for you guys that want, like, literally, that's my little line 6, and that's not even, that's probably, I'm going to guess, by 18 by 10 or 11 pedal board, and that's got my whole rig. That's my entire rig, fits in that bag. And like I said, if you got something, I mean, with the little, this Valaton makes a great little effects pedal, or a couple of, we do a couple of Rage Against the Machine songs, so I have it set as a whammy on some songs. But just like, the things you can go to are just like a, I mean, you're in the middle of, let's say you're going from, like we go from, let's say like Goo Goo Dolls to Godsmack, which, in the middle of... That doesn't do it justice. It sounds better in a good sound system. It's got that punchy. But if you want to go from like your, drop D to your, like a drop C or even drop B, whatever, like the variax is right there. does a whole lot of just, I mean, the possibilities for covers are endless. And I did a whole lot of yapping and not a lot of showing, but imagine if you were a real guitar player and you really, you could put it to its full potential. Just putting this out there. Again, I'm a guitar hack, and I'm out.